All right, let's dive into a story about a connection that feels, almost magical. But it's also a story about what happens when that magic runs smack into the real world, into the challenges of building a life when you both want the same thing, but have totally different ideas on how to get there. So let's meet our main characters, Ethan and Maya. The moment they meet, they discover they share this impossibly specific, identical dream. It's one of those moments that just feels like pure destiny, convincing them that what they have is something truly special, something that just defies the odds. And that's really the heart of the matter, isn't it? Because as they get closer, they start to realize that while their final destination might be the same, their roadmaps for getting there, well, they're written in completely different languages. So, how do you build a future when your paths seem to be pulling you in opposite directions? Okay, so let's get to know the two people at the center of all this. You've got a man who trusts in data and in taking calculated risks, and then you have a woman who finds her truth in the actual earth beneath her feet. On one side, you've got Ethan Reed. He's a finance analyst in Denver. His whole life is built on steady, incremental progress. He's a planner. And then there's Maya. She's an artist, a designer, who grew up under these huge open skies in a small town in New Mexico. Yeah, she came to the city to build her career, but there's a big part of her that still craves that feeling of being connected to the land. So you can probably guess, these different backgrounds, they lead to completely different ways of looking at life, at security, at what it even means to build a future. And this is where that tension really starts to bubble up to the surface. For Ethan, the road to their shared dream is paved with Bitcoin. He sees it as more than just money. It's an idea. It's this revolutionary path to total financial freedom, a way to beat the system so they can eventually just escape it altogether. He's completely captivated by this whole concept of decentralization. For him, it's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward sprint, a sprint towards a future where they call all the shots, totally free from the old-school rules of banks or governments. But to Maya, this all just sounds like he's trying to build a house out of thin air. Her world is tangible. She works with wood, with stone, with fabric. Security, for her, is something she can physically touch and shape. This abstract, digital thing that can just tank overnight, that feels a lot more like a gamble than a foundation. And this right here, this gets to the core of their conflict. Ethan sees home as an end goal, right? A prize you win after this high-stakes financial battle. But Maya, she experiences home as a feeling, something you live in right now, building it steadily with things you can count on. It's the digital future clashing with the physical present. So this whole ideological clash, it really comes to a head during what was supposed to be this absolutely perfect winter getaway, a trip that basically forces them to put all their cards on the table. So they escape to Aspen for a ski trip, and honestly, it's magical. They're away from the city, away from the spreadsheets and the deadlines, and they're just perfectly in sync. They're in this little cozy, idyllic bubble, surrounded by nothing but snow and mountains. But it's exactly this peaceful setting that lets them have their most vulnerable conversation yet. All that quiet and stillness, it just brings Maya's longing for that simpler, more rooted life right to the surface, and it forces them to finally talk about what that really means. They're sitting out on the balcony of their lodge, and Ethan just lays out his entire strategy. He explains that his intense focus, what he calls his battle with the financial world, is the price they have to pay for that quiet life they both want. It's his master plan to fund their future. And this is Maya's deepest fear. She gets his ambition, she does, but she's worried. What if this fight for the future becomes so all-consuming that they completely forget to live in the present? What if the battle just never ends? Now, a conversation like that could have easily been a breaking point. But for Ethan and Maya, it becomes a building moment. It forces them to stop talking in vague ideas and start designing a concrete, shared plan, a compromise that they start calling their blueprint. They had to figure out a really tough question. How do you honor this long-term dream of a quiet life out in the country while dealing with the immediate reality of building careers and a relationship in a big, bustling city? They needed a plan that worked for both of them right now. Ethan, realizing Maya needs more than just abstract promises, does something really smart. He proposes a timeline. He puts a number on his goal, up to 10 years. And that one simple act, it grounds his ambitious digital age plan in a way that Maya can actually connect with. it suddenly makes the future feel real. And so they hammer out their agreement. For the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to build their foundation in Denver. Ethan will focus on his Bitcoin strategy, and Maya will keep growing her super successful design career. But, and this is the crucial part, they promise that these years won't just be about the grind. They'll be about their life, lived fully right here in the now. So what can we take away from their story? Because their blueprint, it's really more than just a financial plan. It's a powerful lesson in what a modern partnership and true compromise can look like. Their story really shows that you don't need to walk the exact same path to get to a shared destination. It proves that big abstract dreams, like Ethan's, they need concrete timelines to feel real and achievable. And maybe most importantly, it shows that a real partnership isn't about sacrificing today for tomorrow, but finding a way to actually honor both. There's this beautiful moment right after their big talk where they see a shooting star. And when Ethan asks Maya what she wished for, she tells him it had everything to do with their blueprint. It's this perfect sign that their two individual wishes have finally merged into one single shared vision. And this leaves us with one last thing to ponder. Their blueprint gives them the how, but it doesn't really answer the what's next. The real journey, you could say, begins when that 10-year clock runs out and they have the very freedom they worked so hard for. What choices are they going to make then, together? A good plan can get you there, but the real adventure is deciding where to go from there.